Story 1. Title: Shadows in the Silence. The night shift at St. Mary's Hospital was never an easy assignment. The quiet halls, dimly lit by flickering fluorescent lights, seemed to magnify the sense of isolation. As a nurse, I had grown accustomed to the eerie atmosphere, but little did I know that this particular night would plunge me into a nightmare beyond imagination. It was a stormy evening when I arrived for my shift. The rain lashed against the windows, casting a gloomy pall over the hospital. The usual hustle and bustle of the day had dissipated, leaving behind an unsettling stillness. My colleagues and I exchanged uneasy glances as we prepared for the long night ahead. As I made my rounds, the echo of my footsteps accompanied me through the empty corridors. The air was heavy, laden with an inexplicable sense of foreboding. I tried to shake off the unease, focusing on my duties and the well-being of the patients entrusted to my care. In room 307, I entered to check on Mr. Anderson, an elderly patient battling a severe illness. The room was enveloped in an unnatural silence, broken only by the faint hum of medical equipment. I approached his bed, my footsteps muffled by the carpeted floor. A flicker of movement caught my eye, a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. I blinked, hoping to dispel the illusion, but the figure remained, its presence undeniable. Fear gripped me as the figure stepped forward, revealing itself to be a woman in a tattered hospital gown. Her pale, gaunt face bore an expression of anguish and longing. I stumbled backward, my mind struggling to comprehend the impossibility before me. The woman spoke, her voice a mere whisper carried on the winds of the night. She revealed herself as Emily, a former patient who had passed away in this very room years ago. Her spirit, trapped within the confines of the hospital, sought solace and release from the torment that bound her. Unable to resist the pull of curiosity and empathy, I listened to Emily's story. She recounted the horrors she had endured during her time as a patient, the negligence and abuse she suffered at the hands of the hospital staff. Her desperate plea for justice resonated within me, and I vowed to uncover the truth buried within the hospital's dark past. With each passing night, Emily guided me through the shadows of the hospital, revealing forgotten corners and hidden records. Together, we unveiled a web of deceit and cover-ups, a history of mistreatment and exploitation that stained the once revered institution. As the investigation progressed, the hospital seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. Lights flickered in defiance, and disembodied whispers echoed through the empty halls. Shadows danced and twisted, their forms morphing into grotesque shapes that defied logic. Haunted by the spirits of those who had suffered within these walls, I braved the depths of the hospital's basement, the forbidden realm where the darkest secrets were kept. In a hidden storage room, I discovered a collection of patient files, each one a testament to the horrors that had unfolded. But as I clutched the evidence, the shadows closed in around me. The air grew thick with an oppressive presence, suffocating my every breath. Terrifying apparitions materialized, their anguished cries piercing the silence. With the weight of truth on my shoulders, I raced against time to bring justice to those who had been wronged. The hospital fought back, its walls seeming to shift and contort, trapping me within its clutches. The spirits of the tormented patients fought alongside me, their collective energy bolstering my resolve. Finally, armed with irrefutable evidence, I confronted the authorities, exposing the hospital's dark history to the world. The truth emerged, and the guilty were held accountable for their crimes. The spirits of the victims found peace, their anguished cries silenced. As I left St. Mary's Hospital for the final time, a sense of closure washed over me. The nightmares of that night shift would forever haunt my memories, but I carried with me the satisfaction of knowing that justice had prevailed. The hospital, once a place of healing, stood as a testament to the horrors that can unfold behind closed doors, reminding us to never underestimate the darkness that can lurk within the institutions we trust. Story 2. Title: Night Shift at the Haunted Gas Station. I was never one to believe in the supernatural, but that all changed when I took on the night shift at a small, run-down gas station on the outskirts of town. It was a last resort, a means to make ends meet during a period of financial hardship. Little did I know that this decision would lead me down a path of unexplainable terror. The gas station stood alone, surrounded by darkness. The neon lights flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows that danced across the empty aisles. As I stood behind the counter, the silence of the night settled over me like a heavy blanket. The only sounds were the distant hum of passing cars and the occasional rustling of leaves outside. A bell chimed, and I looked up to see a figure shuffling through the door. Their appearance was disheveled, clothes tattered and dirty. I couldn't make out their face beneath the worn-out cap, but something about them made me uneasy. The customer approached the counter, their movements slow and deliberate. As I handed them the receipt, their cold, bony fingers brushed against mine. Their voice, hoarse and filled with trepidation, whispered, "Beware the night, young one. Shadows linger here, hungry for lost souls. Stay vigilant." I watched them leave, their words lingering in the air like a warning. What did they mean? Brushing it off as mere superstition, I carried on with my duties, trying to ignore the unease that gnawed at me. As the hours wore on, the gas station took on a surreal atmosphere. Shelves rattled without cause, merchandise fell from their racks as if pushed by unseen hands. Whispers seemed to echo through the empty store, growing louder and more distinct with each passing moment. I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder, feeling a presence watching me from the darkest corners of the station. The air grew heavy with an otherworldly energy, as if the veil between the living and the dead had been lifted. One night, as I glanced at the security monitors, I froze. In the corner of the screen, I saw a figure materialize. It was pale and ethereal, its eyes hollow and devoid of life. It hovered in the aisles, its movements unnatural and chilling. Fear gripped me, but I couldn't tear my eyes away. The figure seemed to be reaching out to me, silently beckoning. I could hear its faint whispers, a cacophony of anguished cries and tortured pleas. Desperation overwhelmed me, and I made a run for the exit. But when I reached the door, it refused to open. Panic seized my heart as I realized I was trapped in this nightmare. In a desperate attempt to find an escape, I searched for any means of breaking free from this haunted prison. Amongst the dust and debris, I stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor beneath a broken shelf. Without thinking, I lifted it and descended into the darkness below. The underground tunnel was damp and suffocating. As I ventured further, I discovered a forgotten secret. The gas station was built upon an old cemetery. Unmarked graves lay in rows, forgotten souls forever trapped in this desolate place. It was there, in the depths of the gas station's dark past, that I understood the malevolent presence that plagued the night. These tormented spirits sought release, their anguish manifesting in the hauntings I had experienced. Driven by a mix of terror and determination, I sought a way to appease the restless souls. I researched ancient rituals and incantations, hoping to find a way to ease their suffering and find my own salvation. Armed with newfound knowledge, I returned to the surface, facing the supernatural forces that had tormented me for nights on end. In the dead of night, surrounded by flickering lights and swirling shadows, I performed the ritual, invoking the spirits and offering them peace. The atmosphere shifted. The air crackled with energy as the spirits converged, their presence palpable. Darkness clashed with light as I battled to break their grip on this realm. It was a fight for my life, a fight for freedom from the nightmare that had consumed me. With a final surge of power, the spirits were banished, their anguished cries fading into the night. The gas station returned to its former state, the paranormal activity finally subdued. I emerged from that night forever changed. The experience had shaken me to my core, a constant reminder that there are forces beyond our comprehension. I left the gas station never to return, but the memories of those haunted nights would forever haunt my dreams. Story 3. Whispering Shadows. The night shift at the old gas station was a haunting experience that forever changed my perception of reality. Each night, as the moon rose high in the sky, an invisible veil descended upon the lonely station, unleashing a sinister presence that stirred in the darkness. The gas station stood like a relic from a forgotten era, its faded paint peeling and its windows coated with a layer of grime. The flickering fluorescent lights cast an eerie glow on the dilapidated pumps, creating grotesque shadows that danced in unholy rhythm. Every shift began with a sense of trepidation, an unspoken understanding that the night belonged to something far more malevolent than the mundane world. As the clock struck midnight, the first signs of the supernatural would manifest. Whispers echoed through the empty aisles, voices that seemed to emerge from the very walls themselves. The air grew heavy, thick with an otherworldly presence that made every breath a struggle. I could feel unseen eyes watching my every move, their gaze piercing through the veil of darkness. Customers became scarce during these unholy hours, and those who did enter appeared as mere pawns in a macabre play. Their faces bore expressions of confusion and dread, as if they too could sense the sinister energies that permeated the air. Some would dart their eyes nervously, as if being followed by unseen entities, while others would mutter cryptic warnings that sent shivers down my spine. One moonlit night, a figure emerged from the shadows, clad in a tattered cloak that billowed in an invisible breeze. Their face was obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, casting a veil of darkness upon their features. The stranger approached the counter with an air of unsettling calmness, their eyes reflecting 1,000 untold stories. As I handed them the receipt, their voice escaped in a hushed whisper, laden with an ancient and chilling tone. "Beware the forgotten ones who dwell in the depths of this forsaken place," they murmured, their words seeping into the very fabric of my being. "They hunger for the warmth of the living, yearning to extinguish the light." The figure vanished into the night, leaving me paralyzed with fear. I began to notice that the shadows had taken on a life of their own, writhing and contorting with malicious intent. They whispered secrets, dark and twisted, that scraped against the edges of my sanity. Objects moved of their own accord, rattling with unseen force. The shelves groaned under the weight of invisible hands, as if restless spirits sought to communicate their anguish. Desperate cries filled the air, echoing through the desolate station, as if trapped souls pleaded for release. Every corner I turned held a new horror. The restrooms became portals to a realm of nightmares, where the mirrors reflected distorted faces and spectral hands reached out from the stagnant water. The storage room became a labyrinth of forgotten terrors, where forgotten relics pulsed with ancient malevolence. One fateful night, as I braved the suffocating darkness, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber beneath the gas station. Its entrance lay concealed behind a rusted metal door, chained shut by an unknown force. A sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air as I forced open the door, revealing a chamber filled with tattered journals and occult symbols. Each journal recounted tales of lost souls, their anguish etched onto the pages with trembling ink. The symbols whispered of dark rituals performed in the depths of the gas station, unlocking gateways to realms beyond human comprehension. I realized then that the gas station was not haunted by wandering spirits alone. It was a convergence point for dark forces, a beacon in the night for malevolent entities seeking entry into our world. Driven by a mix of curiosity and desperation, I embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the truth and put an end to the torment that plagued the gas station. Guided by the cryptic journals and forbidden knowledge, I performed ancient rituals, invoking protective wards and calling upon the light to banish the encroaching darkness. The ritual unleashed a cataclysmic storm, a tempest of supernatural fury that raged through the gas station. The very walls shook, and the ground quivered beneath my feet. Shadows writhed and shrieked, their grip on this world weakening with every incantation. With one final surge of power, the gas station was purged of its malevolent inhabitants. The air cleared, the flickering lights steadied, and the whispers faded into the night. The gas station, once a portal to darkness, was now cleansed of its haunting curse. As I stood amidst the aftermath, the weight of the night's horrors still heavy upon me, I knew that I had been forever changed. The scars of that ethereal battle would linger, a reminder of the terrors that lay hidden beneath the mundane facade of our world. I left the gas daddy,